One of the things I talk about in my videos are the positives of Serbia and why many people should move to Serbia. And of course, that is because our business is helping those who are looking to move to Serbia do so, and those who are looking to return to Serbia do so as well. However, I've mentioned in my videos before that no country is perfect, that there are some ups and downs in both countries, or should I say any country. But today I want to talk to you about my personal experience as to the things that I dislike about Serbia. Now, this video may hurt some feelings when it comes to the Serbian people, because a lot of the people here are naive to how the actual rest of the world works, especially those that have never left Serbia and think that Serbia is one of the worst countries in the world, regardless of what you say about your experience in your country. And this also goes to all the marketing that is done by what we look at, these legacy brand countries: Canada, United States, Australia, so on and so forth. However, it's funny that those who have left Serbia are now looking to come back, like we've helped many of our clients. And those who have come to visit Serbia at what point in their life now have left these legacy brand countries and have moved to Serbia and made it their home. And of course, they say, hey, listen, nothing's perfect here, but it's much better from where I came from. But today I'm going to talk from my personal experience as to the things that I do not like about Serbia. And you may or may not agree with me. It all depends on what your life experiences are and your experience here in Serbia as well. So let's dive into this right now. Now, first and foremost is that I am a Canadian. I was born in Canada. I was raised in Canada most of my life. I've only come to Serbia when I was 13 years old. I came here every year up until I was the age of 18. I know what the country's like, and something always pulled me back to Serbia, regardless of the negative ideologies here, right? And of course, even though I was born in Canada, English is my second language because I was taught Serbian language first. I was put into Serbian Saturday school where I learned the Cyrillic language. I danced folk dance for many years there, traveled around North America, dancing the Serbian national dances and promoting Serbia as a country and something that is in my heritage. And now that I live here, there are some things, and I do not regret moving to Serbia whatsoever. A lot of people laugh at me that are from Serbia about, why would you leave Canada? Isn't it great there? Why would you move here? It's so bad and it's so this. And so we're going to dive into the things that I do not like. And the first and foremost thing is that people think that when I come from Canada to Serbia, that somehow that I have made it in life and that everything is easy for me. Now, they think that I come here with boatloads of money, that I just sit at my home and I just make YouTube videos, and that because I started a business that somehow that business is easy going and that I make boatloads of money, and not understanding that running a business is actually harder than having a full-time job. There's a saying in Canada that many people don't know here, is that as an entrepreneur, you would rather work 80 hours for yourself than 40 hours for somebody else. And that still stands true here in Serbia, even though I run relocation business, which helps people move from all around the world. I still work many hours a week, even the weekends, because, being that it's a business that is in service to other people, there's a lot of moving parts. Laws and regulations change, time schedules change, events happen in people's life that I am responsible for, and being that I want to give them a good service, a lot of times that I am taking up my own personal time and my time off with my family to work and to establish and make sure that the business and my clients, or our clients here at Relocation Serbia, are looked after in the utmost respect and best manner. And so yes, we do come with a little bit of money to Serbia, but it's by no means that we are in retirement, that we actually don't do anything. My wife, she runs her own business. online, which is an education business. And she's working a lot of times till midnight Serbian time because her clients are in the North American time zones. And so even though we have a small child, it's not something that we just get to sit back and relax. And the other one is that they don't understand how it is in other countries. They think that, for instance, because our wages are much higher in North America, that somehow life is easier, not understanding that the cost of living is substantially higher as well. And so when you tell someone, hey, listen, I make $4,000 a month in Canada, they do not want to hear the taxes are like, oh, blago tebi, it's easy for you. But that's not essentially how it is, because they don't understand that 50% of your pay is actually towards taxes as well. And so that they only look at the pay and not the actual cost of living. And when we say that we work 8 to 10 hours a day in Canada, we actually work 8 to 10 hours a day. We have two 15-minute breaks and a half-hour break. We don't get to go out to the kafanas, have multiple smoke breaks, and that's not including the hour of commute that you have each way to and from work that is not paid. And God forbid that there is an accident, you're going to be sitting in a traffic jam for a very long time. The next one is that people think the worst of Serbia. Now, they think that the things that happen in Serbia only happen in Serbia, that corruption only happens in Serbia, that low wages only happen in Serbia, that life is hard only in Serbia, and that Serbia has nothing to offer. This goes for any country that you live in. You're going to have people complaining about the same thing. You have corruption in Canada, United States, you have corruption in Dubai, you have corruption in China, Russia. Everywhere you go, you have low wages in every country. I just mentioned, and I mentioned in many of my videos, there are tent cities in Canada in drug-infested areas where people have no 2 cents to rub together, yet I have not seen that here in Serbia at all. So when I say low wages, I mean people that have nothing, absolutely no home or a pot to piss in, essentially. And when people say that life is hard here, I say go look at the unemployed people living on the streets in Canada that are living in tents with children. And it's not just 1 or 2 tents, it's kilometers long. And life is hard everywhere. There's a saying that I always love to live by, is that if you pray for an easy life, it will be hard. But if you live a hard life, life will be easy. You need to work in life no matter what you're doing. And if you just want to sit around at the kafana every day, of course, no one's going to come knocking at your door or at your table at the kafana and offering you jobs. You need to work. Hands down, 1 job, 2 jobs, so be it, whatever it is. When I met my wife, she was working 3 jobs and still putting herself through school in Canada. And she's one of the few people that does not have student debt from Canada because she worked 3 jobs. But, it's not an easy life. It's something that she had to do, and the wages weren't paid all that great either. She also had food, rent, transportation to pay for, and that's how it was, right? The next one that I do not like is the victimhood mentality. This is a lot of the stuff that I was just mentioning about, that if you say something from like the past, that life is hard, they tell you that you don't understand it because you're a foreigner and that you can't get ahead here in Serbia whatsoever. Meanwhile, I see houses that are, 2, 4, 600 square meters around Serbia, people driving Mercedes, Audis, BMWs, new ones and old ones, yet you don't see that in Canada. When I mention that, that's not a big deal. That's, oh, well, you don't understand, you don't understand, you don't understand. It's not that I don't understand. I don't think that a lot of people that I speak with here in Serbia actually want to take accountability for not getting ahead in life. It's easier to sit around and complain about it rather than putting in the work and doing something about it. And I can understand where this comes from. This comes from the old socialist mentality that Why should I work for more hours because the pay won't be different? Times are different now. We're not in the socialist era anymore. It's a capitalistic society here. If you want to work, you can work. If you want to run a business, you can run a business. And you can run a business not only from in Serbia, but you also have one of these devices. You have computers that you can reach the US and Canadian and other countries' markets and make those higher wages, but you have to sit down and learn how to do these things. Next one is when it comes to real estate. I believe that real estate here is a complete gong show. Many of the real estate agents don't understand what customer service is. And one of the things that we're going to be doing here at Relocation Serbia is actually opening up a real estate brokerage within the next year or so, and having that Western feel for our clients that are looking to purchase property here. And the reason I say that is the pictures that people take here are completely awful, to say the least, right? They take phones with their smartphones on the vertical pictures and don't clean up anything, don't deal with lighting the proper way, and don't show the full extent of the property, don't show the full listing and the information needed. There is no pricing on many of the things. People want people to ask them what the price is so that they can start negotiating, so on and so forth. I'm going to be bringing in a whole different vibe to the real estate market, and to those Serbian people that are in the real estate market, be like, okay, sure, you don't understand how things work here. Trust me, you'll be asking for a job in the near future, especially with the customer service that I've seen here that real estate agents provide is down to zero. And that's why a lot of our clients work with us, is because they want to know that they have someone in their corner and looking out for their best interest, not for someone that is just going to take their money and say adios, have a good time, fend for yourself. The next one that I want to talk to you about, and which is pretty much the last one, is the low entrepreneurship thinking here. When people open up a business here in Serbia, they don't think that there's ways to expand. They work in their business and not on their business. And so they don't want to take any advice. They think that they know the best way, which is not only here in Serbia, but in a global manner, that when people start in their own business, they think that they have to do their craft instead of delegating the work. But I see people here are a lot more hard-headed to new ideas and to new ways of doing things, especially starting a networking group here. People were all gung-ho about joining the group, but then when it was time to do something, no, there was nobody. It was absolutely cricket. So I just shut it down. If people don't want to actually put in some effort into growing their business and learning how to navigate the business world, that's fine. You guys can fend for yourself. I will move on in my own way. The next one is that a lot of these businesses that are in Serbia, they have no digital presence. I don't care if it's a bakery, if it's a auto shop, if it's a grocery store, or some sort of online business. Many of these companies do not have a digital presence, and we live in a digital world. You're watching this video on a digital device. I'm using a smartphone right now because my laptop's not available for my scripts and my notes that I need to talk about in these videos. And anybody searching for anything these days needs to be digitally present in order to capture clients, right? Having some sort of submission form, having some sort of value add, or just being present with a digital footprint. That's something I don't see many people doing here, and it drives me absolutely bonkers. And when it comes to consulting, and I just kind of touched on this, is people are very reluctant to take on extra information from people outside of their business. Essentially, it's my business. I want to keep it. I know how to do it, and nobody's going to tell me anything else. I had a plumber I worked with who here in Serbia that came to do some work, and he was doing some work for he's been a plumber for most of his life, and I asked him about, hiring employees. He's like, no, I can do everything myself. I have too much work and I can't manage everything. I'm like, well, hire some employees. And he's like, no, I've even had people try and consult me on how to run my business. And the last thing I'm going to have is somebody coming and consult me. What kind of consulting can they do, and what kind of advice can they give me on how to grow a business that I do not know already how to do? And it's unfortunate, but again, this comes back from the old mindset of not having that capitalistic mentality here, that way of growing, because Serbia has been into so many sanctions and hard times and wars and so on and so forth, that a lot of this mentality comes from the older generation, is passed down into the younger generation, and it's a perpetual circle that you need to get out of sometime. And I see a lot of the younger generation slowly coming into the light of entrepreneurship and understanding that there's other ways to make a living, and not actually leaving Serbia to go into these promised lands that are marketed as the best of the best, and this is where life is great. Meanwhile, they're stuck working the rat race there again, but actually starting to develop their businesses, growing their networks. And so I do see a brighter future for Serbia here, especially with the younger generation, and seeing that there's other ways of making money, not just working at a kafana here, at a pekara or whatever it is, but also establishing a business within Serbia or with a global presence. Now, those are the things that I definitely do not like in Serbia. And the one other thing that I've touched on many videos that is not going to be surprising to you is the customer service and bureaucracy here. Not only in the government office, but in other businesses as well. I've mentioned this before, but I'm not going to beat a dead horse. It's something that is ingrained here, and I feel something that's not going to be changing in the near future.